and will be led by the Pledge of Allegiance. Will be led with the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner John O'Grady.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As a reminder, this is a public meeting and is being recorded. We kindly ask that you maintain the same level of decorum as if you were meeting with us in person. Finally, for those of you calling in, please ensure that you have muted your phone line by pressing *6. Thank you and appreciate your cooperation. As a reminder, March is Women's History Month, and what an exciting month it has been learning and growing with regards to the legacy that women have been a part of this great country. And my colleagues and I think we have set the tone over the last few years with our own level of inclusion and how we go about our everyday work. As such, we created a few years ago the New American Advisory Council, which was created to promote integration and community engagement among a very much growing immigrant and refugee population. Our guest today is Nadia Kazvin. Nadia is the co-founder and director of Us Together, founded in 2003. They're in their 18th year. 18th year, that's incredible. She herself is a former refugee from Ukraine, and she has spent over 35 years coordinating support for vulnerable women, children, seniors, and refugees among the new American population of Franklin County, serving 3 locations: Columbus, Cleveland, and Toledo. Nadia's work and vision is an excellent example of refugees serving refugees. Nadia, it is our pleasure to greet you here today. I can say from personal experience, I don't know of a person more passionate, a stronger leader, and as sincere and authentic as Nadia. She puts everything she has into this work, and you truly have been Franklin County's leader, and we appreciate it. You are creating a legacy for yourself that we'll all work to live up to and maintain throughout our time here in Franklin County. With that, let me turn it over to you, Nadia. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, President Boyce. Good morning, Commissioners Brown and O'Grady. Thank you for welcoming me to your meeting today, and thank you for taking the time and space to honor Women's History Month. This month is a time for us to examine the labors and celebrate the successes of the women who came before us, the past that made the present, to connect the dots between the brave women who pushed for the 19th Amendment 101 years ago and the first woman elected to the vice presidency 4 months ago. And as a former refugee, as a woman, I want to take this time to share the contributions of refugee women here in the United States. Marlene Dietrich bravely spoke against the Nazi regime and was forced to flee to the United States, where she contributed to the war effort. Nadine Murad, a 27-year-old woman from Iraq, was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2018 for her work to end genocide and human trafficking. Warsan Shir, born to Somali refugees, inspires the world with her poetry. Ilhan Omar is the first Somali American ever elected to Congress. And Madeleine Albright, the first woman to serve as the Secretary of State. These women are amazing. I am in awe of them, and they inspire me. But I always say refugee excellence is not the exception, it is the norm. Refugee women are giving back to our families, our workplaces, and our community every single day. Some of them work with us together, and they are on the front lines of the pandemic. There are 176,000 former refugees working in the American healthcare sector right now, and 70% of them are women. As we have done for centuries, women are working hard to keep our families and communities safe. I have a profound respect for the sisters, mothers, and daughters who came before me and made this world a better place for all women. But as a co-founder of a nonprofit that serves refugees, including many women, I see firsthand that there is still much work to be done, even here in our own community. And that's why in our organization, Us Together, we started so many programs to benefit women in our communities. We piloted the first ever 2-generation summer camp where mothers and children participated in all kinds of activities, learning, growing. We have women empowerment program. We had financial literacy for women. We just finished a project for refugee girls where we help them to figure out how local government works, what their role, and how they can advocate for their own communities, for things that are important to them. We have so many programs that serve refugee women here in our communities. But also several years ago, and especially lately, our work at Us Together has led me to believe that we need to focus greater effort on combating gender-based violence. We see clients every day at high risk for domestic violence, sexual assault, female genital mutilation, cutting. Central Ohio is a hotspot for human trafficking. Addressing gender-based violence is more important than ever. And sadly, as COVID-19 constrained health services, shelters, helplines, domestic violence and violence against women has increased around the world in so-called shadow pandemic. Women have also suffered disproportionately during the pandemic because of job loss and expectations to provide childcare. As we take this time to reflect on women's history, we should realize that none of these problems are new. Rather, the pandemic has simply thrown them into sharp relief. Whatever challenges come our way, however, the history of women, including and especially refugee women, gives me hope. I know what it means to come to a new country and rebuild your life. And I see so many women in our New American community who have done just that. I know we are strong. Through hard work, resilience, compassion, and love, refugee women have not only rebuilt their lives, they have rebuilt the whole families, whole communities, the whole world. Yesterday, we celebrated International Women's Day. It was a day off for me because at Us Together, we made it a holiday. Today, we're talking about celebrating Women History Month, but we should acknowledge and celebrate and listen to challenges that women experience every day, go beyond a day, go beyond a month. And I also urged everybody to look for inspirations in their own families. I know this is exactly that for me. If not for strong women that raised me, I wouldn't be the woman I am today. My grandmother, who almost 100 years ago, somehow, miraculously, I don't know how and why, was in charge of a labor union of local hospitals. Her sister, a surgeon on the front lines, World War II, saving lives. Her another sister, a doctor who devoted her life to helping patients with tuberculosis. These are the women that inspired me. My mom, a brilliant teacher, who taught the literature not the way that government prescribed, but how it should be. Nobody taught War and Peace the way my mom did. And she raised generations and generations of independent thinkers. This is, I can see her notes on every page of the book. And we all have these women in our families. So let's celebrate them. Let's listen to them. Let's be inspired by them. Thank you so much.
Well, Nadia, I mean, I don't even know where to start, other than to say thank you for sharing everything that you do every day for Franklin County residents, um, with all of us, and allowing us to be a part of your legacy and your family history in many ways. What an incredible story that is. You know, we all tend to focus on, I know as an African American, I focus on the 13th Amendment, but the 14th Amendment is a very important amendment, because it really is what allows people to become naturalized, become citizens, and then their offspring, to be citizens, and that's really a part of that legacy and journey that you fight so hard and so strong for. And so we just want to say we're grateful for your contributions, your existence, and all the things that you'll continue to do even beyond the work that you're doing with us together. And I know my colleagues probably want to say a few words too. So, but thank you, and we appreciate you.
Nadia, you are an inspiration to so many of us and so many women. I know my family background is similar to yours. My grandparents came over from Russia, and my great-grandmother came over as an adult and learned enough English language to take the citizenship exam to become a U.S. citizen. And that was the proudest moment she had in her life. And I remember my mother telling me the story of her coming over as an adult and as an older adult. And she knew very little English language, but knew enough to take the exam because she wanted that citizenship so badly. So what you do is so very important, and your story is so amazing and so much a story of so many of our people that have come to this country and what makes our country so good and so rich and dynamic. So thank you very much for being here today. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your story and what you're doing.
Thank you.
Nadia, you tell your story, and it reminds all of us of our stories as well. And you're a big inspiration to all of us. It's been great to get to know you over these years. And you tell your story of your mother. Everybody that knows me always thinks of my father. Thinks of what an inspiration my dad was to me and to a lot of people. But they what they don't realize is that the women in my life are the ones who were really the most inspirational. And my mother, the mother of 12 children, 7 daughters, raised 7 strong, inspirational daughters. And the women in my life are the ones that were the strong ones, the ones that were the most inspirational. My mom raised 12 kids, 12 strong, independent, strong-willed kids, all different, all, if you could imagine growing up in a family of 12 kids, what that was like. And my dad being a guy who was, the breadwinner and being out and gone and traveling and doing all the things that he did. My mom was the one who ruled the house with an iron fist, and you didn't mess with her. But she was a teacher. She was an inspirational person who taught us all. She wasn't a teacher by profession. She was a teacher by trade. She was the person who inspired all of us to grow and learn and be the independent thinkers and independent people that we all became. And so she was just a wonderful, wonderful person. And so when you spoke about your mother, reminded me so much of my mom, who would be 96 in a couple of months, if she were still with us today. So it's and we're the ages of your grandparents and your aunts, and they grew up in around that time in World War II. So a very inspirational person that you are, and very inspirational stories that you told today. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the Franklin County family and all the work that you do in the Franklin County community for the residents that you serve and the residents that are the new Americans in our community. And we appreciate all that you do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nadia. So continuing on with our business, again, thank you, Nadia Kazvan, for joining us today. But is there a motion to approve the minutes of the March 2nd, 2021 general session, the March 4th, 2021 briefing session, and the March 1st and 3rd, 2021 administrative briefings?
A motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Thank you. The minutes have been approved.
And we had a fourth vote there. It seems like furry friend was voting. First up, engineer.
Commissioner, we begin with a few public hearings this morning.
Sorry. Yeah, okay. We have a public hearing, and can the clerk please read the public hearing?
Resolution regarding plans approved for the Groveport Road, County Road number 7 at Saltscaper Road, Township Road number 237 Improvement Project, Part 1, Madison Township, City of Groveport, Franklin County, Ohio.
All right, at this time, I'd like to open the public hearing for this resolution. Is there anyone here in the audience today who would like to speak on this public hearing? Okay, seeing that there are none, I'd like to close the public hearing and have the clerk read the resolution into the record.
Resolution number 16621, plans approved for the Groveport Road, County Road number 7 at Saltscaper Road, Township Road number 237 Improvement Project, Part 1, Madison Township, City of Groveport, Franklin County, Ohio.
Good morning, commissioners,
Morning.
staff members, and constituents. My name is Cornell Robertson, County Engineer for Everyone in Franklin County, reporting to you live from Studio A. Commissioners, this first resolution, as stated, is the capital improvement project in the southeast part of the county in the area of Rickenbacker. It is a cooperative project that includes Franklin County, Madison Township, City of Groveport, Village of Obetz, a private developer, and the Franklin County Transportation Improvement District. With this resolution, I am asking you to approve and sign the plans for Part 1. If approved, we will schedule the project for competitive bid opening. If not already, I will see that the title sheet is delivered to Clerk Hindenlang for you all to sign. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
If there are no questions, I'll move approval of resolution 16621.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 16621 has been adopted. We have our second of third public hearings, Commissioner.
Okay. So we have another public hearing. Can the clerk please read the public hearing notice?
Resolution regarding plans approved for the Toy Road, Township Road number 236, Swisher Road, Township Road number 238, and Saltscaper Road, Township Road number 237 Improvement Project, Part 2, Madison Township, City of Groveport, Franklin County, Ohio.
Okay. I'd like to open the public hearing for this resolution up at this time. Is there anyone here in the audience who'd like to speak to the public hearing? Okay, seeing that there are none, I'd like to close the public hearing and have the clerk read the resolution into the record.
Resolution number 16721, plans approved for the Toy Road, Township Road number 236, Swisher Road, Township Road number 238, and Saltscaper Road, Township Road number 237 Improvement Project, Part 2, Madison Township, City of Groveport, Franklin County, Ohio.
This capital improvement project is Part 2 of the previous project and previous resolution, and therefore my presentation is virtually the same. If you approve and sign the plans for Part 2, we will schedule the project for construction combined with Part 1, via a competitive bid opening. If not already, I will see that the title sheet is delivered to Clerk Hindenlang as well for you all to sign. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Well, if there are no questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 16721.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 16721 has been adopted. Commissioner, our third of three public hearings is next.
Our final public hearing. Can the clerk please read the public hearing notice?
Resolution regarding final hearing for establishing, altering, and widening of Roar Road, County Road number 235 at London Groveport Road, State Route 317, Madison Township, City of Groveport, Franklin County, Ohio.
I'd like to open up the public hearing for this resolution. Is there anyone here in the audience who'd like to speak to this hearing? Okay, seeing none, I'd like to close the public hearing and have the clerk read the resolution into the record.
Resolution number 16821, final hearing for establishing, altering, and widening of Roar Road, County Road number 235 at London Groveport Road, State Route 317, Madison Township, City of Groveport, Franklin County, Ohio.
Commissioners, this capital improvement project is also in the southeast part of the county in Madison Township and the area of Rickenbacker. It is a cooperative project to build a roundabout with funding from Franklin County, City of Groveport, Ohio Department of Transportation, a private developer, and the Franklin County Transportation Improvement District. With this resolution, I am asking you to approve and sign the right-of-way plans so we can begin the right-of-way acquisition process. If not already, I will see that the title sheet is delivered to Clerk Hindenlang as well for you all to sign. Pending any questions, I respectfully request your approval of this resolution.
Well, if there aren't any questions, I will move approval of Resolution 16821.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 16821 has been adopted. Resolution number 16921, preliminary allocation and final encumbrance of county motor vehicle license funds, a $5 fund for the city of Gahanna in the amount of $200,000.
As stated, this is a $5 fund resolution with the city of Gahanna. Gahanna will use these license fee funds to improve portions of Taylor Station Road and Morrison Road as part of their 2021 street program. These streets are approved for such use of these funds, and happy to answer any questions that you may have.
If there are no further questions, or if there are no questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 16921.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 16921 has been adopted.
Thank you. Child
Thank you all
support
very much.
system.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you, sir. Resolution number 17021, resolution authorizing Franklin County Child Support Enforcement Agency to enter into a contract extension with Jewish Family Services Incorporated related to the implementation of the Journey, A Parent's Voice Early Intervention Pilot Project in the amount of $20,300.
Good morning, Commissioners. Susan Brown, Director, representing Franklin County CSEA. I ask your consideration in approving this resolution which authorizes the CSEA to enter into the Journey, A Parent's Voice, also known as Journey, service contract with Jewish Family Services for continuing client services in the Journey pilot program. This resolution carries over the remaining supplemental appropriation general revenue funds previously authorized on March 26, 2019. This contract for $20,300 begins March 1st, 2021 and will be in effect until March 31st, 2021. Journey is an early intervention pilot program. The purpose of Journey is to recruit and refer new non-custodial parents into an integrated employment and parenting program at their point of entry into the child support program. This program emphasizes responsible parenting and parental behavioral change focused on supporting both parents, family functioning, and the child's well-being. The theory that's being tested through this intervention is that the blended curriculum will help change the outlook, attitude, and cognitive behavior of the non-custodial parent by tapping into and supporting their desire to be a good and responsible parent by providing individualized support services, which in turn raises their commitment level to career services and ultimately the regular and consistent payment of child support. It also addresses the fact that historically, the non-custodial parent, typically the father, has felt invisible in the paternity and support establishment process, which creates distrust and apprehension, which carries on throughout the future case management of the case. Providing these intensive case management services early on builds trust, which is the foundation of any positive relationship. The reason for the short duration of this contract is to wrap up services under this pilot program. The data gathered over the past 2 years of this pilot has been used to successfully support a funding proposal under a federal study entitled BEES, or Building Evidence on Employment Strategies for Low-Income Families. The kickoff date for that full research trial is April 1st, 2021. The evidence and outcomes derived from this trial will drive policy across our national program. The resolution seeking your approval for that contract will come before you in the next several weeks. Pending any questions, I ask for this resolution to be approved.
If there are no further, or if there are no questions, I'll move approval of resolution 170-21.
Second,
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 170-21 has been adopted. Resolution number 171-21, resolution authorizing Franklin County Child Support Enforcement Agency to enter into a contract extension with Goodwill Industries of Central Ohio Incorporated related to the implementation of the Journey, a Parent's Voice Early Intervention Project, Early Intervention Pilot Project in the amount of $20,300.
This second resolution is identical to the first, but seeks your approval to authorize the CSEA to enter into a Journey service contract with Goodwill for continuing client services in the pilot program. As with the first resolution, this resolution carries over the remaining supplemental appropriation general revenue funds previously authorized on March 26, 2019. This contract for $20,300 begins March 1st and will be in effect until March 31st, 2021. Both Jewish Family Services and Goodwill will continue to provide employment services in the federal research trial, but will be funded with the BEES funds. Pending any questions, I ask for this resolution to be approved.
If there's no questions, I'll move approval of resolution 171-21.
Second,
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 171-21 has been adopted.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. EMA?
Thanks, Susan.
Resolution number 172-21, resolution authorizing non-general fund supplemental appropriations related to a state Homeland Security Program grant award.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeff Young, representing Franklin County Emergency Management and Homeland Security. Before you is a resolution to approve a non-general fund supplemental appropriation for our state Homeland Security grant program. The state of Ohio is the recipient of these grants, with Franklin County Emergency Management and Homeland Security acting as the 15-county regional coordinator of the projects for local first responders. These grants are awarded with a 3-year performance period and consequently project budget and procurement spreads across 3 fiscal years. Traditionally, the most recent awards project approval is not given until late in the year, keeping us from being able to include the first group of 2020 approved projects into the 2021 budget. The approvals have been provided, and we are now asking for these supplemental appropriations to be approved so we may proceed with the individual Homeland Security projects, which will also proceed through the Franklin County procurement process for the contract approvals in 2021. I will gladly answer any questions and ask for your approval of this resolution.
If there's no questions, I'll move approval of resolution 172-21.
Second,
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 172-21 has been adopted. Resolution number 17321, resolution authorizing a non-general fund supplemental appropriation related to a state Homeland Security law enforcement grant award.
Commissioners, this is a similar resolution regarding a non-general fund supplemental appropriation for the same federal state Homeland Security grant, but this addresses the part of the program that is the required separate law enforcement percentage. Unlike the previous budget category and program that utilizes emergency management directors as the advisory group and open to projects of all response agencies and partners, there's a federally legislated requirement to dedicate 25% of the total award to only law enforcement agencies, resulting in this separate budget category for the state Homeland Security grant law enforcement program. I'll gladly answer any questions and ask for your approval of this resolution.
If there are no questions, I'll move approval of resolution 17321.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 17321 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Sanitary engineers.
Resolution number 17421, resolution finding it necessary to acquire real property for the purpose of constructing a sanitary sewer pump station and associated infrastructure in connection with the Kanawha-Roslyn Sanitary Sewer Improvements Project and approving a contract with L&N Up Alum Creek LLC for the purchase of a 0.184 acre property in the amount of $70,000.
Morning, Commissioners. Ryan Stowe with the Sanitary Engineer. Sanitary Engineer is requesting the approval of a land purchase on Roslyn Avenue in Sharon Township. This land will become the site of the pump station, which will be constructed as part of the county's Kanawha-Roslyn Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project. The project will provide sanitary sewer to the remaining 114 homes in the Clinton No. 2 service area that currently do not have sanitary sewer. Sanitary Engineer has worked closely with the County Engineer's Office to negotiate a final sale price of $70,000 with the owner of the property, L&N Up Alum Creek LLC. All documents related to the purchase of the property have been thoroughly reviewed and approved by the prosecutor's office, and the funds for this purchase will come from the $5 million provided to the Department of Sanitary Engineering by the Board of Commissioners. Any questions or comments, I request the approval of this resolution.
If there are no questions, I'll move approval of resolution 17421.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 17421 has been adopted.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ryan. Next, Jobs and Family Services.
Resolution number 17521, resolution approving a subaward amendment with Community Refugee and Immigration Services, Ethiopian to Awedo Social Services, and Jewish Family Services for refugee employability programs in the amount of $315,131.
Good morning, Commissioners. Vivian Turner, Assistant Director. As you know, we are the only Job and Family Services agency to receive state refugee social service funding. This funding is intended to help eligible refugees across the Central Ohio region address challenges and barriers to employment, such as language, education, and work skills. The ultimate goal is to help move these individuals and families who have been impacted by trauma and violence into employment as soon as possible. Commissioners, you originally approved the first round of state RSS grant funding for this collaborative in June of 2020. We received an additional allocation later that year and amended subawards accordingly, including extending the terms of the agreement through June 30th of 2021. This latest allocation will allow us to cover funding for the year 2 of this third year award period. All other terms remain unchanged. This resolution supports goal number 4 of the Rise Together Blueprint. Pending any questions, I request your approval.
If there are no questions, I will move approval of resolution 17521.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 17521 has been adopted.
Thank you and happy Tuesday, everyone.
Thanks, Vivian. You too. Next, Justice Policy and Programs.
Resolution number 17621, resolution authorizing the acceptance of a contract extension for the fiscal year 2016 Justice and Mental Health Collaboration Grant awarded by the Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board of Franklin County to support behavioral health interventions.
Good morning, Commissioners. Happy Tuesday. My name is Melissa Pearson. I'm the Interim Director for the Franklin County Office of Justice Policy and Programs. And Commissioners, as you're aware, our office assumed administration of FY16 Justice and Mental Health Collaboration Grant funds originally awarded to Franklin County Adam H. Board. Since receipt, we've been able to train 100% of the Franklin County Sheriff's Office corrections deputies on suicide prevention, embed peer support specialists within the recovery courts, train justice practitioners on cognitive behavioral treatments, and offer financial literacy classes to justice-involved individuals. Unfortunately, due to delays from COVID, we were unable to complete one last project, which was to embed assessment specialists within the Franklin County Municipal Court pretrial services to ensure judges are provided with the most robust information during arraignment proceedings. Your approval of this extension will provide us with 12 months to complete this program, although I anticipate we will expend 100% of the funds prior to August of 2021. Pending any questions, I respectfully request your approval of this extension.
There are no questions. I will move approval of Resolution 17621.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 17621 has been adopted.
Thanks, Melissa. Next, Public Facilities Management.
Resolution number 17721, resolution authorizing the county administrator to execute a modification to the contract agreement with Johnson Controls Fire Protection LP to perform additional security electronics activities associated with the construction of the Franklin County Corrections Center in the amount of the contract not to exceed $75,000, and authorizing the county administrator to approve and execute additional minor modifications to the contract agreement for a revised total of $9,463,214.
Good morning, Commissioners. Darla Reardon, Director, Public Facilities Management. Also joining me today is Chief Operating Officer Vivian Alexander. The 5 resolutions for your consideration today are associated with the construction of the new Franklin County Correction Center. The Correction Center construction project has an established small and emerging business enterprise SEBE aspirational goal of 12%. This project remains on track to exceed the aspirational goal with a current SEBE commitment of 27.11%, approximately $73.7 million as of the end of February of 2021, which includes the contracts awarded to date for the continuation phase. In January of 2019, Johnson Controls Fire Protection LP was awarded a contract agreement to perform security electronics activities associated with construction of the new correction center. Approval of this contract modification will provide an owner-directed allowance to provide for additional security electronics work. Pending any questions, we request your approval of this action.
If there are no questions, I will move approval of Resolution 17721.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 17721 has been adopted. Resolution number 17821. Resolution authorizing the county administrator to execute a modification to the contract agreement with Castle Technologies Company, LLC to perform additional communications associated with the construction of the Franklin County Corrections Center in the amount of the contract not to exceed $321,619, and authorizing the county administrator to approve and execute additional minor modifications to the contract agreement for a revised amount of $3,917,275.
Good morning, Commissioners. Resolution 178-21 is a modification to the contract agreement with Castle Technologies Company, LLC. In March 2018, Castle Technologies Company, LLC was awarded a contract agreement to perform communications activities associated with the new correction center. Approval of this contract modification will provide all communication works associated with Bulletin 87 issued by DLZ Architecture in November 2020, including to extend the fiber, copper, and grounding backbone for the continuation phase of the Correction Center. Pending any questions, we request your approval of this contract modification.
If there are no questions, I'll move approval of resolution 178-21.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 178-21 has been adopted. Resolution number 179-21, resolution authorizing the county administrator to execute a modification to the contract agreement with OCP Contractors Incorporated to perform additional acoustical and drywall activities associated with the construction of the Franklin County Correction Center, and the amount of the contract not to exceed $277,072, and authorizing the county administrator to approve and execute additional minor modifications to the contract agreement for a revised amount of $5,614,842.
In November of 2018, OCP Contractors, Inc. was awarded a contract agreement to perform acoustical and drywall activities associated with the new correction center. Approval of this contract modification provides for additional activities as specified in various bulletins issued by DLZ Architecture and includes an owner-directed allowance for additional acoustical and drywall work. Pending any questions, we request your approval of this request.
If there's no questions, I'll move approval of resolution 179-21.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 179-21 has been adopted. Resolution number 180-21, resolution authorizing the county administrator to execute a modification to the contract agreement with S.A. Communal Company Incorporated to perform additional fire protection activities associated with the construction of the Franklin County Correction Center, and the amount of the contract not to exceed $63,527, and authorizing the county administrator to approve and execute additional minor modifications to the contract agreement for a revised amount of $1,892,727.
In March 2018, S.A. Communal Company Incorporated was awarded a contract agreement to perform fire protection activities associated with the new correction center. Approval of the contract modification is to provide all fire protection work associated with modifying the sprinkler piping at the prefabricated cells, and includes an owner-directed allowance for additional fire protection work. Pending any questions, we request your approval of this request.
If there's no questions, I'll move approval of resolution 180-21.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 180-21 has been adopted. Resolution number 181-21, resolution authorizing the county administrator to execute a modification to the contract agreement with Warner Metal Works Incorporated to perform additional miscellaneous steel activities associated with the construction of the Franklin County Correction Center, and the amount of the contract not to exceed $421,094, and authorizing the county administrator to approve and execute additional minor modifications to the contract agreement for a revised amount of $5,256,602.
In December of 2018, Warner Metal Works, Inc. was awarded a contract agreement to perform miscellaneous steel activities associated with the new correction center. Approval of this contract modification will provide all miscellaneous steel work associated with Bulletin 69 issued by DLZ Architecture in 2020, including adding the required miscellaneous metal for the covered parking structure, and will provide an owner-directed allowance for additional miscellaneous steel work. Pending any questions, we request your approval of this action.
If there's no questions, I'll move approval of resolution 181-21.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 181-21 has been adopted.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Commissioners.
Commissioners.
Make it a great day in the city of Columbus.
Or in the county of Franklin.
Yes.
Next up, purchasing.
Bye. Thank you.
Resolution number 182-21, Resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $1,456,201.87.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Perry Valinier, Director of Purchasing. This resolution requests your approval of 106 purchase orders for which the County Auditor has pre-certified available funding. This week, 17 out of 33 eligible POs totaling $182,694.51 are being presented for award to 13 women business enterprises and 4 minority business enterprises. This represents 52% of the eligible PO volume and 86% of the eligible PO dollar value. Pending any questions, I respectfully request your approval of this resolution.
There are no questions. I will move approval of Resolution 182-21.
Second,
Moved and seconded. Voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 182-21 has been adopted.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Next, Board of Commissioners.
Resolution number 183-21. Resolution authorizing a 1-year contract with Future Ready Columbus in support of the Future Ready by 5 Kindergarten Readiness Plan in the amount of $400,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dana McCrary, Administrator, Community Partnerships. I'm so pleased to be with you this morning to introduce this resolution, which will provide support for Future Ready Columbus's Future Ready by 5 plan, which has the audacious and achievable goal of making sure that every child in Franklin County is ready for kindergarten by the year 2030. Franklin County's support will assist Future Ready Columbus in implementing an equitable, community-wide prenatal through age 5 kindergarten readiness initiative. We will also assist the creation of Future Ready by 5 public education and awareness campaign, and we will provide support for the continued alignment of countywide fatherhood initiatives into a coordinated system. I'm so pleased this morning that we have Jane Leach with us. She is the Executive Director of Future Ready Columbus, and she can share, and she's here this morning to share with us a little bit more about the Future Ready 5 initiative.
Great. Thank you, Dana, and thanks for the great introduction. And thank you, Commissioners, for your support of this audacious but achievable Future Ready by 5 goal for our children in our county. I want to give a shout out to Commissioner Brown, who serves on the Early Childhood Advisory Council and gives great voice to our efforts to date. So as Dana mentioned, we have a prenatal to age 5 focus in our community, and we are addressing the challenges of kindergarten readiness in our community with a collective impact approach, a collective impact systems building approach, actually. We have enough data to suggest and to prove that taking a programmatic approach is not meeting the needs of our children, as evidenced by our kindergarten readiness, our unacceptable kindergarten readiness scores throughout the county. So the reason why kindergarten readiness is so critically important is when children enter kindergarten ready, it changes their life trajectory. So with this prenatal to age 5 focus and this plan that's being developed in community, we know that we can change the outcome for our children, our families, and thus our communities. So it's a wise investment. It's important for you to know that we are not developing this plan from on high. We're developing it very much in community with others. It's our goal to create this plan and have the final plan be made with the community, not for the community. So I challenge you, please, to visit the futurereadycolumbus.org website. At the top of that page, you'll find a button that says Make Your Voice Heard. And I ask everyone on this screen and everyone that you know in your personal and professional world to share this website and to indicate this Make Your Voices Heard button. Because by pressing that button, you'll be asked 8 questions. It'll take 10 minutes of your time, but they're scientifically designed to directly impact the final outcome of this Future Ready by 5 plan. So we can't over listen, right? In this day and age, what better way to expect them support and respect our residents than to listen well? So we're going out into the community, following safety protocols, and holding a lot of Zoom meetings to make sure that we hear the voices of our community. But for those who are uncomfortable hopping on Zoom or visiting in person, visit the website, please, please, I implore you. So I'm going to begin or end where I began, and that's expressing my great appreciation to you for your understanding of the importance of this work and in the value of how this changes the trajectory, as I said, of our children and families, but certainly of Franklin County. Dana mentioned also with this Future Ready by 5 plan comes a big call to educate and communicate within our community the importance of kindergarten readiness. And I certainly know a passion of our county is the fatherhood initiatives. Our work as a collective impact is to mobilize and align the work of so many wonderful fatherhood initiatives in our community, but align them so that we can have a greater impact with the fathers in our community. So thanks so very much. I will keep you posted as data, more and more data is known, and you'll find in your inbox later after the meeting some documents that will support you as you support our ask to get out in the community and receive more voices into the plan. So thanks much.
Jane, can you please give the website again for anybody listening?
Sure.
Or Zoom so they can go online and take that, give their input?
Yes, it's futurereadycolumbus.org. That's it. It's all one
Thank
word, no
you.
dots, just except for the org, futurereadycolumbus.org. And I thank you so much. These are exciting days for our community.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Commissioners, I'm sorry, go ahead, Commissioner O'Grady.
I was just saying thank you.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
Commissioners, if there are no other questions, I would respectfully request the approval of this resolution.
Certainly. Well, if there aren't any questions, I'll definitely move approval of Resolution 183-21.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 183-21 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Thanks.
You too.
Thanks, guys.
Commissioner, I'll just note very briefly before I read the last resolution, there are no journalizations for today. And I didn't know if you wanted to take questions before we read the next resolution or not, Commissioner.
Yeah, are there, I need to move to move for executive session, but should we check to see if there's anybody, any media or anybody in the Commissioner Boyce?
There it is. You asked it. Is there any media that have any questions that are on the line before we move to executive session? That have any questions?
Okay. Resolution number 184-21. Resolution of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners to convene into executive session for the purpose of considering personnel matters.
All right, I will move to convene into executive session to consider the appointment, employment, or compensation of a public employee.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 184-21 has been adopted. We are now in executive session. For those of you going into executive session, if you could kindly just give me a few moments, I'll get you moved over. For those that are not, thank you for participating. You're more than welcome to stay on or drop off as you see fit.